A few days ago, you actually did an actual live scribing.
Yes, I did, together with you.
Yay!
That was nerve-wracking, but very, very fun and very. I was just so happy with being like a grand It was like a grand finale in the end of my internship, but also when I had built the courage to actually do live scribe in front of other people.
And you do it so well, really good. You're a natural visual thinker. What are the 3 most interesting or important things that you learned this time? What would that be?
I guess the first one is that there's nothing like a textbook example in the real world.
I'm going to miss her. Hey, Rebecka.
Hey, Mina.
We're here. It's the last day of Rebecca's internship at Simply Draw It Big. And I wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for these past weeks with Simply.
Oh, and thank you for letting me be here.
You've been here for 2 months.
Yes.
And what have you been doing mainly for these past 2 months?
So actually quite a lot of things which I'm really pleased about. So I think the thing I've been doing most is copywriting. So creating and producing text. So I've written some articles for the blog, or the Simply blog, and also some internal documents. Apart from that, I've been doing some graphics and graphic designing. Been creating some pictures for you to use in presentations. I've been creating some Facebook cover photos. I've also been doing some social media management-ish, where I've been having Instagram stories takeovers, and that's been actually more challenging than I could imagine, because you need to always come up with new ideas and how to present the information in a fascinating way to keep the audience like still wanting to look through the stories and get the information you want to share with them. So I think those 3, and also maybe the most important thing is that I'm actually doing some live scribing.
Hey,
yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah.
You actually did the Visual Viking Academy training.
Yes, I did. 2 weeks into the internship.
How did that evolve after the course?
So the Visual Viking Academy was very intense but super inspiring. So after that, I actually written an article about this, but I tried to implement it to my daily life. Just like in my personal life, how to implement thinking, not only live scribing but like thinking visually. For example, I sat down, and when I was making my grocery lists, I drew them instead. But apart from that, you asked me to make visual notes during meetings. So I did that for a couple of times, and it was actually super interesting to see what you picked up on and what you focus on when trying to make visual notes. And I do believe that I actually do remember more, because if I was given these notes today, I'm pretty sure I would be able to tell at least 90% of the pictures what I was trying to remember.
A few days ago, you actually did an actual live scribing.
Yes, I did, together with you.
Yay!
That was nerve-wracking, but very, very fun and very. I was just so happy with being like a It was like a grand finale in the end of my internship, but also when I had built the courage to actually do live scribe in front of other people. So that was, it was such an experience. Yeah.
So great to hear. And you do it so well, really good. You're a natural visual thinker, so it's quite amazing. What are the 3 most interesting or important things that you learned this time? What would that be?
I guess the first one is that there's nothing like a textbook example in the real world. I think when I was going from university, and I had all these theories in my head and all these different styles of developing communication and stuff like that, and then when you get out to the real world, you realize that these theories is necessary for you to understand, but also just takes bits and pieces of everything and combine it to the best capability of the company or the wherever organization you work at. So I think that's the one of the biggest things I've learned, but also the importance of setting goals. How important it is to have like a clear goal, what you want to do with maybe like a meeting or an event, and if you don't think about the goal, then why are you doing anything in the first place?
Good one. Mm-hmm.
And the third thing, I do think it's my the way I developed my visual thinking. I think that will stay with me for the rest of my life. How to just make your life more efficient by thinking pictures and thinking and like drawing and just communicate visually instead of maybe even verbally or with text, because it can make so many complicated things so much easier to describe and talk about. So I guess those three things.
That's really cool, and I'm really happy to hear, especially the part that you will take it with you. That's really fantastic. It makes me really happy to hear. Then so let's say that there's a time for a new intern to arrive to Simply. What would you tell that intern to prepare him or her for her internship at Simply?
So first of all, I would tell them not to be scared of not like getting or being included in the Simply team, because that's like in the second day I got a key to the office, and after that I just got to meet everyone in the first week, and I just felt as a part of the Simply team. So that's my first advice, not to be nervous about the social settings. And apart from that, I think that you need to be able to take a lot of initiative and also be okay with that all of your ideas might not happen. But I think Simply creates such an open place for at least me, for like to be creative. And I always had the ability, if I had an idea or a suggestion, I could always come and talk to you about it. Then it might not always happen, but I could it felt like I was being heard and listened to and taken into consideration. You also need to be able to like remember your own stuff, like working your own stuff, and try to structure your own work, because it's a very independent work. Like even if we work physically closely together, it can be with so different things that you need to be able to yourself just structure your work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So you got a few good advices there. If you're coming as an intern to Simply,
which I highly recommend.
Well, I have to say it's been really an honor to have you here at Simply for these past 2 months. You have been such an integral part of the team. You have been a great communicator. You have been really proactive, and I have really been appreciating how you have been asking all the time. You know, if there's something that you want to find out or you want to clarify, like you haven't been afraid of them, and that I have been valuing a lot, really. And in general, all of the things that you have been working on, you have excelled. Like I have been so honored to have you with Simply Drive Big for these 2 months, and I wish you a lot of success in the future, and you're going to be a star, a visual star.
Yes. Yeah.
And okay, maybe last thing. Okay, is there something, would you like to leave a message to people in general about visual thinking? You can give it to them.
Okay, I'm give it to the camera. So I would like for more people to being open with trying visual thinking, especially if you're like a highly educated person. Especially if you're very like academic, to understand that visual thinking can help you in your studies or in your daily life or in your work, and it's not something that children or uneducated people do, which I do think that you have that kind of picture before. So be open for it and try to learn Google or go to the Visual Viking Academy.
For example. Thank you so much, Rebecka, for that advice. And well, what can I say? It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much and good luck.
Oh, thank you.
Ja. Det var nice.
Ja.
Oj, nu ska jag se. I'm going to miss her.